Yeah, we got there in the end.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. I was at the gym doing Keslo shrugs very badly. So thank God you messaged me and I came out and I thought, oh no. Hence the
That's
sweaty,
cool,
wetty
man.
appearance.
I'm glad you could make it. I'm glad you could make it. And
No, thanks for having me on.
today's obviously all about you, man. So let me just reintroduce this. This man has lost over 25 kilograms since we started working together. He's best described as a family man, I would say personally, from the experiences we've had talking to each other. You own your own business and you have an incredible, an inordinate amount of social occasions to attend. So that's a bit of a background on you. I'm just going to keep it really brief because this whole conversation is going to be about yourself and what you've done to get to this stage.
Okay.
So let's make sure this is basically the first time we've ever brought a client in and discussed within the Lean Indian Academy what they've done, the obstacles they've faced, the things in their life that have changed on the back of this journey. So let's go. Let's crack on with yourself, man. Talk to me a little bit about yourself. Give me a bit of an introduction, and then we'll move on.
Okay. I mean, the first thing was, as you know, when I first started this, I was, over 112 kilos, I think.
Yeah.
114 kilos, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were just driving. That's why it was a bit disturbed there. 114 kilos, and I was getting heart palpitations. Going up and down the stairs was a chore. I just wanted to sleep. I own a pharmacy, started a beauty business, stress, family, everything was just getting way, way, way too much, and I was just piling on the pounds, and you don't really notice. Before getting married and what have you, I used to do a little bit of training, always done a little bit of martial arts, tried to keep a little bit fit, but my diet has never been on point, never, ever. And it got to a stage where I was having these palpitations and I was just, really, really worried. I thought something was going on with my heart. So got checked out. The doctor put me on a heart monitor for a week, and he said, your heart's fine, everything's okay. So I started Googling all sorts of bits and pieces, and this, was it adrenal overload or something? And I was watching Juggy's videos a lot on Facebook, followed him and all the rest of it. And I just got in touch and I said, look, this is my situation. This is where I am, and it's starting to affect me really badly. My sleep is terrible. I'm just snapping for no reason. I'm not having quality time with my children. My wife's worried about me, lasting another year without having a heart attack. And it was all really heavy, really, really heavy. And literally, I think within a month of starting with Juggy, I can't even remember how much weight I lost. It just fell off. And it was incredible. I owe my longevity and my sort of new life to Juggy and the academy. I mean, that's me being really, really modest about it. I could really, really go on and say, more and more and more, but without trying to sound too corny, it's actually given me a new lease of life. I'm absolutely full of energy. I'm running around all over the place. I do my Krav Maga, which is like crazy intense training twice a week. Normally, within 15 minutes of one of those classes, I was on the floor dying, and the instructor was just kept saying, "Come on, Pupinder, come on, Pupinder." That was his normal thing. And since Juggy's helped me, literally, I'm whizzing around, and he's like, "You're like a little blimmin' crazy Jack Russell now." So it's been a real revelation. Not only from the physical aspect, I'm lighter, I can move. Good deep root right. I started with Juggy in November, and I think the majority of my weight loss occurred within the first 4 months. And now we're on a case of getting the rest of the fat off and pumping up, so one day I can look like Juggy.
I think to note what's really, really important here is not just, I think you've actually nailed it there in terms of it wasn't just the physical transformation that you were looking for. The way that you felt was massively important in this journey so far. Yeah. One thing I would like to bring up was, do you remember those initial health markers that we looked
Yeah.
at
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
where they are now. Give me a bit of well, let me know if you remember those initial kind of tests that
Well,
we did.
I was borderline diabetic, near enough,
Mm,
isn't it?
yeah,
My sugar my fasting sugar was something like 7 or something like that, crazy.
yeah,
My heart rate was, gosh, I think it was over, resting heart rate was over 70, 80, I believe.
yeah,
My blood pressure was about 125 over 80 something. And now blood sugar consistently 4.3. Blood pressure 112 over 58 sometimes. My
yeah,
resting heart rate can sometimes be in the low 50s. So it's literally in such a short space of time, the changes that have occurred due to this plan, they should basically prescribe Juggy Sidhu on the NHS. That would transform this obesity crisis in this country. Sorry, my
yeah.
wife is driving my car like an absolute rally driver at the moment.
I can hear
Trying
it.
to get us home to Wi-Fi. Sorry if you heard that crazy revving there. Sorry.
That's cool, man. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, this is
I
it.
find? Sorry,
No, I was going to say, it's not just, like you say,
go for it,
the
man.
physical appearance, the fat coming off, the increase in muscle. It's the overall well-being and the holistic approach that Juggy has, which has led to these results. Sandy says as well, she goes, you're so much happier. You're just a different person. Before, I would let any little thing, it would just set me off. You know, if I couldn't find my
Yeah,
water bottle or whatever, I'd start going into a hissy fit. Now it's a case of, it's all right, you chilled out, it's fine, doesn't matter. If whatever's happening isn't going to kill you. Whereas stressing about it, putting on the weight, comfort eating, stress eating, yeah, that will eventually kill you. Nothing else really will.
yeah,
So I have to say that Juggy has totally transformed my outlook on life in general. And
yeah.
because my wife's sitting here, I should actually tell you that Sandy used to tell me not to worry about things all the time. But obviously, when it's your wife, you don't listen, do you? So when Juggy tells you, she's right here, by the way. But when Juggy tells you, you listen and you think, oh gosh, yeah, that is so true. And then Sandy's just there smiling, saying, yeah, I did actually tell you this years and years ago before you put on all this crazy amount of fat. But hey ho,
That's hilarious.
there you go.
Well,
Well, everyone
Sandy's
knows the wife's always right.
100%. I think Sandy supported you, incredibly well in this journey. I mean, the
If
food
if
prep, the
I was
support
if I
daily.
was doing what Sandy is doing for me in terms of the diet and preparing the food and everything else, I think I would have a nervous breakdown because I am just not capable in the kitchen. The maximum I can do is literally help Sandy get the marinade ready for the big bucket of chicken we make every week. But yeah, Sandy has been absolutely rock solid in this whole journey. I couldn't do it without her. I couldn't do it without you. Um, and well, I couldn't do it without the kids, really. Is looking at them as well has made me really think that this is crazy. I need to transform what I'm doing and get healthy, get in the right mindset, and move life forward rather than always worrying and thinking, oh gosh, what's going to happen about this, what's going to happen about that, and just being lazy.
Yeah. I think you've just said something really, really powerful that maybe you don't even realize that you've just said that, but you've got a powerful reason why that you need to succeed every single day. And
Yeah,
we talked about that pretty much on day one in our first call. Like we got on like a house on fire in that first call. As soon as we had that consultation, I was like, this is a really good guy. I'm really looking forward to working with him. I actually had a bit of a buzz about that. But one of the things we said in that consultation was, why do you want to achieve this goal? Like, why is it important to you now? And do you remember what you said there?
yeah, I said I want to be around for as long as possible for my kids.
Mm,
That was it. That's still the key focus even now.
yeah,
Whatever you've done for me now has helped me gain more years with my children and be able to play with them and do stuff that's great. Sometimes even now the kids are saying, Daddy, why are you making us do 10 minutes of exercise with you? And it's like, you're going to thank me later on, and you can say thanks to your Uncle Juggy, because he's the reason we're doing this, and he's the reason we're going to keep doing this. So
yeah,
it's great. The kids are doing gymnastics. They're running around. They're watching what they eat. Now they're telling me, Daddy, do you know that's protein? Daddy, do you know that's carbohydrate? Daddy, do you
Incredible.
know that's fat? These are, kids that are 6 and 8 years old. So it's incredible. It's really, really good.
I love that, man. I really do love
So
that.
we've just arrived home,
Again,
so hopefully the reception and everything and the sound will be better.
that's
So I
cool,
can
man.
just get out of the car now. Sorry. Right, okay, yep, I'm running out now. I'm just getting out into the house. So,
Perfect, man.
right, here we are. We're home,
I think
we're home.
what you've said there, man, just about the little ones seeing you as a role model and actually emulating what you're doing, like that's, again, you're setting them up for life in terms of, their health and their well-being and their understanding of nutrition. These are things that potentially don't get taught in our school curriculums. These are life
No, they
skills
don't.
that people don't know about.
I've got to tell you something really interesting. One of their teachers is a nutritional therapist or something, and she did a class with the kids, and she was saying, well, you guys are all very much aware of your carbohydrates, a little bit of your fats, but no one really considers the protein.
Yeah.
Apart from R3, which jumped up. No, actually, we do the chicken every time we're having, even if we're having SARD, we have an egg with it and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So their knowledge is really, really, really improving. And again, it's thanks to what you've taught and what you've instilled. Even Sandy, we're at the gym together today, and she'll come home and I'll say, right, I need to eat this, I need to eat this, but I need to hit my protein. I need to hit my protein. So it's really good. It's really, really good, Juggy. Thank you. I can't thank you
That's
enough.
fascinating. By the way, I've got to take this opportunity to say that you wouldn't have achieved the goals or the vision that you've achieved so far without putting in that hard work. And this is what I say to everyone. I can give you all of the foundations. I can give you the best plan in the world. Unless you go out and action it, unless you meet my energy and my effort halfway, then you don't achieve anything. So don't thank me too much. It's you that's gone out there and made this happen. So from my perspective,
Nah,
thank you for actually taking action.
I appreciate
So
that a
cool.
lot. But you know what I'm like. I'm never one for self praise ever. Even when you've given me my six pack, I'll still be saying, no, Juggy, thank you for that.
But again, I think that's talk about as well. I mean, you've done incredibly well in this journey, but it's not been plain sailing. Like in terms of obstacles, in terms of
No,
the things that have occurred in this time frame, like give people a bit of an insight into what's actually kind of gone on in this journey so far.
yeah, sure. I mean, I can go through relatively minor and major things that have happened actually. Um,
Hmm.
Minor in the sense, I don't mean to belittle it, but it was minor in the sense of everything else that was going on in our lives. One of the big ones was this tummy bug very early on in the sort of plan, and literally I couldn't eat anything healthy without my stomach just going into some sort of crazy spasms and God knows what else. And I actually ended up reverting back, having like chocolates, having bread, having like just easy to digest stuff that was just like Joe, like Joe, you said, stuff that you take in and it's absorbed straight away because my gut just couldn't cope with it, and that was going on for God, I think it was a good month or two, wasn't it? A couple of months,
Yeah, yeah,
and it was really stressing me out. I just said to Jiggy, I said, Jiggy, I'm trying to eat healthy. I'm trying to eat trying to eat the complex carbs, trying to eat the protein, but literally I'm eating it and I'm whacked for the day. I can't move.
yeah.
And he introduced some enzymes, glutamine. We increased apple cider vinegar. We increased a bit of the infamous Juggy juice, and that sorted it after a couple of weeks. But it was a real test because it was going back to, right, okay, I'll have a tea cake, okay, I'll have another tea cake, oh, I'll have another tea cake
Yeah.
because I haven't eaten.
Hmm.
And that took some sorting actually. That was one aspect. The other one
Well,
was
just on that, I think with that, the mental side of that, that was probably one of the first major obstacles that you faced in the journey. And I
yeah,
know mentally it's sometimes difficult to go from, everything's going really well, we're losing a kilo a week, we're losing, progressively losing the body fat that we're looking to see, and then suddenly something like that happens, and it
Yeah.
completely throws you off course. And
Yeah.
it's more of your mindset, if anything, because I'm guessing at that point it was like, do I carry on with this? Do I stop? Like, where do I go next?
Yeah,
So
this is it.
just on, yeah,
It was literally like an easy option. It was like, well,
mm,
if it's going to make me feel worse doing this,
mm,
why should I carry on? Why should I do this? I should just go back to eating rubbish and be able to move, without my stomach completely giving me all sorts of hell. But yeah, it was after speaking to you and
yeah,
we introduced those bits and pieces and those other measures that sorted it. It sorted it. It's just a real,
yeah,
it's a test, isn't it? If it was all plain sailing, then it wouldn't work. That was one.
yeah,
The other, well, the other real big one, as you know, was obviously the situation that we had with family and what have you. Unfortunately, we had a very stressful, um, very, very stressful period in our lives. And unfortunately, it was to do with my father. There were two really stressful ones. One was that I think it's just old Indian mentality. He was putting myself and my family under immense pressure, and that was coming close to breaking me.
mm,
So we ended up, resolving that issue. And then after a few months, he ended up getting something called viral encephalitis, which is a very rare infection of the brain. And that was one of the most stressful periods in my life. He was in hospital for 2 months. I was visiting him every day, and that was hard enough in itself because, unfortunately, my father and I never have had the best relationship. So that was quite an easy excuse for me to say, well, I'm under this pressure. I'm going through this hassle. What's the point in me, eating? I need to be here, make sure Dad's all right,
yeah,
and what have you. But I was shocked at myself. I didn't waver. There's a Marks and Spencer's food hall down there. I was getting protein packed chicken, grilled chicken every day. I was still filling out my fitness pal, even in the hospital. Dad was
yeah.
in some days he was in a wake coma. But I don't know why. I don't know. It's very strange. I just thought, no, I've got to carry on. And it wasn't, I'm not going to say it wasn't hard, but it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. I think that was obviously because you're in that routine and you're eating that way. And I carried on with that. I also carried on doing the gym as well. So thank God he's all right now. He's 99% back to normal. He's actually gone on holiday to Thailand, so things are better. But that was probably one of the most stressful things that I've been through. And that was very difficult. And that's on top of
But
having to juggle
thank you so much for
work.
sharing that. Yeah, I
No,
mean, to
that's
share
all
that
right. I think
with everyone, I think that's incredible.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those old things that just because you're Indian doesn't, you shouldn't share stuff like that that's going on.
Mm, yeah,
If there's problems out there in our culture and our society, why don't we just try and deal with them a little bit head on, rather than skirting around the edges and just pretending everything is okay. I'm sure there's other people in our group that have probably gone through similar processes and stuff. It's
yeah.
hard, but you have to deal and move on. Thankfully, it hasn't affected us negatively in that sense. It feels really bad when you're going through it, but we've come out all right, you know. And
You have,
it's
man.
carrying
I
on with.
think what you did incredibly well was, I mean, we talked about, how you were feeling. And I think that's one thing that people miss out on. Okay, there's a common perception. You sign up to a coach, the coach tells you what to eat and tells you what to train, how much cardio to do, and that's it. But we know to get a result, we need to know somebody as an individual. We need to be able to coach them through certain situations. And the fact
Yeah,
that you opened up and you shared about what was going on, you shared about the past, and we were actually able to discuss scenarios, discuss ways to get around the issues that you were feeling mentally, the pressures that you were feeling. Like
Sure.
that was for me in terms of a coach-client relationship, that was a real kind of that was the epitome of what it should be. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
I actually remember we were talking, and I kind of started to feel a bit upset. I started to really resonate with how you were feeling. I started to feel your passion, especially with, I know that you're a family man. I know how much you kind of protect your kids, protect your wife. So I started to feel that same level of passion towards the scenario and the situation that had gone on.
Yeah.
So just again, you handled that incredibly well because that's the time that you could have easily just bottled it all up, gone and sat in a room, maybe had a few drinks or ate some crap or
Yeah.
whatever it was, your coping mechanisms could have come out then. But you handled that impeccably well, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was tough going, especially considering the past and without going into too much detail, if I hadn't gone through what I'd gone through with my father, I'd be in a position now where I probably would be retired, to be honest. But we just carry on and we just keep working and doing what we need to do. Um, that, unfortunately, is always a little bit in the back of your mind, but you deal with, you carry on, you move forward. You have to put it aside at the end of the day. It's your father and what have you. So yeah, that was really, really hard work, but kept kept the nutrition on point, kept the training on point, which was
Yeah. I
surprising for me.
remember you messaged me to say that you were running up the stairs to get your steps in.
Yeah, yes, yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
crazy.
it's again like what I would say on that front is you were so in tune with your goal, you were so in tune with your vision that these obstacles were going to come up and you knew they were going to come up. And instead of looking at a way to fold, you were looking at a way to overcome them. So
Yeah,
again, it's your outlook, your perspective going into the journey it's truly the key. With the Lean Indian Academy, the whole thing is set up on the foundation of your mindset. So your
yeah,
approach to the situation and the way that you handled that is just by building on that foundation that you've built in terms of that bulletproof mindset. So again, it's not by accident that these things happened. It was by design.
yeah, yeah. No, that's so true. Actually, yeah. I mean, like you said, you could go through whatever and just fall off the bandwagon, but I was so focused and just yeah, it was just right. This is what's happening. Deal with it. Carry on. Do it.
Hmm,
So
awesome,
yeah,
man.
it was awesome.
In terms of in terms of the actual kind of side effects, let's say, of you losing the body fat, improving your nutrition, improving your lifestyle factors, did that
Yeah.
have an effect on, say, like your productivity, your efficiency
Oh
at
God,
work,
yeah,
the way
yeah,
you
yeah,
work?
yeah. Before, as I was like probably every other Indian out there, 24/7 is work, 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 work. With your coaching, reading more, chilling more. I Some days I can have my day's workload done by 12 o'clock. And that's it. Everything's done, everything's sorted. Emails still come in, obviously, and work. I still get phone calls and what have you, but it's nothing that can't wait until the next day. I can actually now be in a position where I can turn off at a certain point in the day and do what I want to do. Spend
Yeah,
time with the kids, decorate the house, do something else. Whatever.
yeah,
It's been really, really good, and my productivity, like you said, something that would normally take me maybe 3 hours to do because I've spent half the time messing around.
yeah.
Half an hour, the job is done. Next job, carry on, carry on. The whole thing, the whole process has improved my productivity, definitely 100%.
That's incredible. Has that had a knock-on effect in terms of, I know you're a businessman, so I know you've got your pharmacies, I know you've got your beauty company. Has that
Yeah.
had a knock-on effect in terms of their growth and development?
Yeah, touch wood, and thank you, God and Juggy
Touchwood, yeah.
Sidhu. Yeah, everything seems to be going in the right direction. We've won a number of awards now with our beauty product, and we're actually going to be featured in the Times. I think it's on the 13th of October.
Wow.
We've got one of the Strictly Come Dancing dancers been taking our product, and she's happy for us to use her quote and her image in our Times feature for free. So we're like, what? Okay, that's a good start. So yeah, everything, rather than me thinking, right, oh no, it's not going to work. Oh gosh, you know, I shouldn't try this, whatever. I just approached her directly and asked her, I said, look, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? And she just turned around and said, yeah, your product's amazing and you guys are amazing. Yeah, go for it. So
That's incredible.
that's been brilliant. And like with the pharmacy business, as you know, I've bought and sold and buying another one. That's all, it's all working well. Everything, touch wood, is starting to come into place very nicely. And
That's
then,
incredible,
you know,
man.
Lean Indian Academy is going to start taking over the world as well. So it's all good.
Or with the help of people like you, man. You know, everybody in the Lean Indian Academy, they provide so much. I don't think they realize how much support that they provide on a day-to-day basis. Just by being a member of the group, they're very, very special, special people. Everybody in that group is growth minded. And it's
Yeah,
not just in
absolutely.
terms of, again, one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on here, because growth minded, it's not just about what you can achieve physically. And again, it comes back to the whole thing of, what does Juggy do? Does he, does he just give nutrition plans? Does he just give training plans? What is it that he does? And I think
Exactly.
it's actually just creating this community of people that are empowered and absolutely driven towards achieving success
Right.
in life, not
Yeah.
just in terms of their
I'm
body.
going to embarrass you now and I don't care. You know my nickname for you, yes? Oh no, have I lost you? Hello?
Yeah, you're back, you're back.
Am I here? Am I here? Yeah, okay. I was going to say that
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
embarrass you now, and I really don't care. My nickname for you is Juggy Robbins. You know that, after Tony Robbins, because that's what you are.
I
Seriously,
appreciate that.
it's just like I can see you doing that pretty quickly, jumping on stage and flexing your biceps and saying, "Yes, this is it. You're empowered."
I
So
think I,
you
my
do
my
give.
recent
I'm not being funny,
experience
but
and
oh gosh, okay, hold on, I've got to get the charger on.
yeah, my recent experience on stage, delivering the presentation on Asian fat loss, Asian health. I thought that was I think that's going to be a spark for me to go and do more public speaking. Um,
Yeah,
Anybody that's in the Lean Indian Academy, we're actually going to set up an event this year to get everybody together, hopefully in a gym environment, so we can go through some exercise execution again,
that'd be awesome.
go through some foundations of nutrition, go through some Q&As, but
Yeah.
most of all, just meet each other. I mean, we're all in this online space, but I think just getting together in a room and just talking, I think the last one went incredibly well. So looking forward to
Yeah,
doing that again.
that was really good.
But yeah, definitely, man. Again, going back to yourself now, you kind of threw me off with that Juggy Robbins. But going back to yourself, man, I think we kind of touched a little bit on your business there. We touched on the successes that you've had so far this year, and
Yeah.
I wonder, you know, with yourself, you're very, again, you're driven, you're focused, you're growth minded, you've always had belief in the fact that you can create success in your business. So I
Yeah.
wonder if there's other people listening right now, whether you've got any advice for them if they wanted to set up something themselves, if they wanted to start a new business or a new venture, or maybe they're currently in business and they want to understand what you've done to become more successful.
Cool, blimey. It's pretty, that's a tricky one.
Hmm.
It's for me, it's just, you just keep grinding, you just keep going. You don't stop. As soon as you stop or you think you can't do something or whatever, that's it. You've had it, you know? Adam Carmi, Juggy Robbins, see, he loves that.
We'll
Um,
have to
I
we'll have to
think
use
that
that in the social media marketing.
the, the other thing is, like you said, if you've got people doing stuff or whatever, like you've done already, in fact, like I've done with Rashpal, just link, talk to each other. I don't think there's any harm. People always get quite funny about talking commercials or talking about business with each other or whatever. No, I think I've noticed a real shift in sort of commercial world, that people now are more wanting to help each other succeed rather than trying to think, right, I need to see how much I can get out of this person to move to the next level myself. Now it's very much a case of, even with like the beauty business we have, we've got I think we've got six investors, and they haven't just thrown money into the pot. They've actually put their skills as consultants into the pot. So it's really interesting. I think, like you've done, if you just connect people or get people talking to each other and saying, look, this is what I do or you do, whatever. What do you reckon? What do you think? And just bouncing ideas. I think that's real key. You know, if you keep talking and moving things forward, then you're gonna succeed. You can't be stopped. You know.
I think surrounding yourself with the right people, I think that's been huge in terms of my own growth, is
Yeah.
searching out mentors, searching out for people that have potentially achieved what I want to achieve. Talking to people again within this group, talking to yourself, that's given me a lot of inspiration in terms of growth for me
Yeah.
personally. So I think
Yeah.
what you've just mentioned there is really important.
Yeah. The other thing is, don't just limit yourself. Don't think that. Oh gosh, you know, I just want to be able to sell 100 whatever. You just think I want to just sell millions all over the world. Just so
Yeah.
you know, you aim for that. You end up maybe spending half a million, whatever. But I think the key is really just go big. Really, just go big and just go for it. The last thing you want is what if, what if, what if. You know,
Hmm.
that's why I've been following you as well. You know, it's the case. Oh, what if I, hadn't contacted Juggy or whatever. So yeah, just go for it.
That's awesome, man. I think the last thing any of us want to do is live with any regret in life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, that applies to, family, it applies to what our bodies were like, our quality of life,
yeah, yeah,
business,
yeah,
it just literally applies across the board.
yeah,
Um, I think that was really powerful, man, in terms of the advice that you've given there people in the group. The thing is with the Lean Indian Academy, it's so diverse, yet it's so not at the same point because
yeah,
we've got such a diverse amount of people in the group, different ages potentially, but everybody is still on that same path of growth and
yeah,
development. So I think it's really, really powerful that we can come together in this community. We can
yeah,
talk to each other about anything. We can
yeah,
overcome obstacles together, but it all comes down to sharing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no point not being able to share your knowledge or expertise or what you've been through. 'Cause that's how you grow. That's how other people grow. Then they'll give you their thoughts or whatever, and that's how you learn and move up. I found that a lot, not just in
Definitely, man.
personal situations now, but in commercially as well. Once you have that sort of rapport going with whoever it is, everyone wants to help each other now. What I've noticed anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll get the odd bad egg, but you always do. But 9 times out of 10 now, when I'm dealing with people, they're not just looking at, right, how can I get some money out of this person? They're looking at how can we add value to each other, which is
Yeah.
which is really nice and it's refreshing.
I think what you said about the investors that you had on board, and I think
Yeah,
that's something that other people can apply to their own businesses, is
yeah,
they're coming with skills as opposed to just money. And
yeah, yeah,
those
yeah,
skills that are usable within your industry for
yeah.
growth, I think that's incredible, man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Just talk to people. I used to be very much afraid of what the next person was going to think or say,
Mm.
or what if they say no? What if they? But then you got to think, what if they say yes? What if they say, yeah, all right, let's do that? Or there's no harm, just go for it. Well,
Yeah.
I think every knockback that you have just makes you that little bit more resilient, a little bit more prepared for next time.
And every experience that you go through is an opportunity to grow, whether that's good or bad.
Yeah,
And I think having that mindset that, what is the worst that could happen? If somebody says no, what's the worst could it happen at
yeah,
that
it's not
point?
going to kill you, is it?
And
So you're going to learn
exactly,
from it, and you're going to be better next time. God,
that's awesome, man.
the amount of blimmin' knockbacks we've had in business is I'm surprised I'm still doing it. So it's crazy, but you just carry on. You don't stop. You just keep going. You'll probably end up going forward 3 steps and back 4, and then forward again another 3. You're gonna keep doing that, but you will keep
Yeah,
going. You'll get there in the end. And like
it's
one of
amazing,
the
man.
guys at Crab yesterday said to me, "So when do you want to stop with this nutrition stuff?" I said, it's not going to stop now. You're going to see me ripped, mate. I'm going to look like Opie.
That's true, man. Well, a pinder's the goal, man. A pinder's the
That's
goal.
it.
But again, even on that side of things, like you set yourself a vision of what you want to achieve early on in terms of your body composition, in terms of your shape.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
said, this is what I want to look like. And every obstacle that has come in the way has actually made you stronger, more resilient, and
yeah,
made you more focused on actually achieving that goal. So I think
yeah,
that's incredible. There's one thing that I really wanted to bring up and I wanted to talk about with you was, do you remember your holiday that you went to recently and
oh yeah,
the book that you read on that holiday and how that kind
yeah,
of refocused you and shaped you?
yes. Tim Ferriss, The 4 Hour Working Week, amazing book, amazing book. I still haven't finished it, would you believe? But just what I've read so far, it's
Yeah.
totally transformed the way I look at things now. Totally. And one of the key things that really hit me was that if you leave something, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like I used to get
Mm.
emails at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be up there starting typing and sending it back. And then you think, hold on a minute, what the hell are you doing this for?
Yeah.
After reading that, now I've got my cutoff. Literally 4 or 5 o'clock latest, I'll stop unless it's gonna mean our website has gone down or whatever.
Sure.
But other than that, it can wait until tomorrow.
I think one of the things that that book really we touched upon in a phone call as well is compartmentalizing your time and
Yes.
saying, well, Juggy's told me I need to have like a half an hour window before bed where I need to unwind and then
Yeah.
start applying that. And then we saw in your sleep data there was a huge improvement on the back of your holiday.
Huge. Huge. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
So
that
I
was
think
amazing.
so we talked about the compartmentalizing of, bringing in sleep routines, waking up in the morning, focusing on something in terms of gratitude journaling or something that's going to give you a benefit or a positive to your day. So you're
Yeah.
starting off on that front foot.
Yeah.
And like you said there, like if you can set yourself goals, like simple goals that you can achieve in terms of your workload and achieve them by 12 o'clock, everything you do past 12 o'clock is just more success. It's just another
Yeah.
bonus that you've gone through. So
Absolutely.
I'll share with you something that I personally do. Um, so before bed, I brainstorm. So I literally drop everything that's on my mind, everything that's going through my mind onto a piece of paper. And I basically put a column next to it, and the column's called control. Do I have control over that? So some of these
Yeah.
things we don't have control of.
Yeah.
So somebody beeps their horn at me and it upset me or whatever. That's not what happens, but somebody beeped their horn at me and it really riled me up. I write it down on paper. Do I have control over that situation? No. So do I have any action to take on it? No. And that's the same thing. You can go through your whole day. So I need to write a nutrition plan. So can I do that now? Is it a priority task for me to do at 10 p.m. at night? No. So do I need to do that tomorrow? Yes. And then you can actually start scheduling your week out properly as opposed to trying to do
Yeah.
everything that's on your mind all in one day. Because I think that
Yeah.
leads to a lot of that overwhelm feeling. And it's one thing that I know you've been
Yeah.
through before, that feeling of overwhelm.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's so much going on in life and work and everything. And what I've done, not probably as detailed as what you do, is just get that next day, next couple of day to-do list going. And I found that's made a huge difference to me because normally I'm just there haphazard, just okay, I've got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah.
Now it's all written down. I can see, right, I need to make sure this is all tied up by X, Y, Z. And like this morning, even before the gym session, I had probably 90% of the phone calls I need to make done before hitting the gym.
That's amazing, man. That's
So
absolutely
yeah, it's
awesome.
great.
Um, to be honest, man, I think you've shared so much within this call, man. I think it's been incredibly powerful. I think if people listen to this back, they're going to take a lot of value from what you've talked about and your experiences to date. Um, Relating back to physical fitness and health, what are the top, I'm putting you on the spot here, but what are the top three that you've got around people achieving their goals?
The top three, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, it
give me
cut out then. What was that
three
again?
bits of advice. Sorry, give me three bits of advice that you would have for people achieving their health and fitness goals.
Okay. These are my personal ones then, yeah?
Yeah.
Mine all, at the moment is going to be nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. That's the three. The training is, like you say, the training is changing the body shape, but the food is always key. I was training badly for a number of years, and body shape never really changed. It was only when we started messing around with the food and actually eating properly, or I should say normally, really, not properly, eating
Yeah.
normally, that's when you notice the change. I mean, for me, nutrition is number one, 100 million%. Number two, train as heavy as you can, really.
Yeah.
That's. I've got that from you.
What's the
In fact, so
RPE?
much so today, I think I've maxed up my forearm. Say again?
What's the RPE of your training?
It's always 10. It's always 10. I mean, even today, I was doing those Keslow shrugs, and then I saw your message, and I was like, oh no. Sandy said, what's happened? I said, I need to get on. I need to finish my workout. No, I need to be Juggy. So I literally had 2 more exercises to do, but unfortunately I didn't finish them, so I'm gonna have to do something at home now. Just to So sorry.
That's cool,
the
man.
3 tips. I mean, nutrition is key. The second most important is the brain, really, getting your mindset on, and the final one is the training. Nutrition, mindset, training. That's the order. Or maybe so you can switch mindset and nutrition around, or make them equivalent.
Yeah.
But
No, I
what's
agree,
most
man.
difficult for me is the food. Yeah.
I completely agree. Well, from my perspective, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for sharing your experiences, your journey so far. You talked, you talked very openly, very candidly today, and I appreciate that. And
No
I'm
worries.
sure the other guys will as well. So awesome. We'll leave it there.
Great.
Thank you. Take
Thank you,
care, man.
Juggy.
I'll
All
speak to
best.
you
Take
soon.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye.